Hello, and welcome to the Westwood Regional High School Guidance Department's presentation of our senior college program. My name is Mr. Mello, and I'm the assistant principal who oversees the guidance department here at the high school. Throughout this program, our guidance counselors are going to be covering various aspects of the college application process. They're looking forward to sharing their expertise and knowledge with all of you, and to begin to help to guide you as you move through this very exciting aspect of your senior year. So without hesitation, I'd like to introduce Ms. Lyons, one of our guidance counselors, to begin the presentation.
Welcome. I know you are all stressed out right now, worried about the college application process, afraid that we're late in the program. Relax, you're not. This first slide is a link to admissions committee at Amherst College. We're not going to show you the video right now, but we encourage you to take a few minutes to look it over. Some of the key points from this video and the takeaway that we want you to have is that most applications are read within 15 minutes. They're looking for the rigor or strength of your transcript, they're looking at your GPA, they're looking at your extracurricular activities, your leadership qualities and skills, and your life experience, and most importantly, hardships. Don't be afraid to share those hardships with the admissions committee. And last but not least, they're looking for resiliency. Have you overcome obstacles in your life and been able to move forward and be successful in school? So there are 4 types of decisions in the college application process. Regular decision is a decision that's offered during the regular admission cycle. Students submit their applications by a specified deadline and are notified of a decision within a clearly stated period of time. The second is rolling admission. Students apply at any time after a college begins accepting applications until a final closing date, which may be as late as the start of the term for which they are applying. Students are notified of a decision as their applications are completed and reviewed. Early action. Students apply by an earlier deadline to receive a decision in advance of the college's regular decision notification date. Students will not be asked to accept the college's offer of admission or to submit a deposit prior to May 1st. Lastly is early decision. Students commit to a first choice college and, if admitted, agree to enroll and withdraw their other college applications. That means that if you are accepted early decision, you are not waiting to hear from your other colleges. You must reach out to those colleges and withdraw any applications that you've made. Colleges may offer ED1 or ED2 with different deadlines. This is the only application plan where students are required to accept a college's offer of admission and submit a deposit prior to May 1st. Early admission. Applying early demonstrates interest in that particular school. Therefore, the college may dip deeper into the early admit pool. Colleges may want to lock up quality applicants. So in most cases, if the college is within your range of schools that you are a good candidate for, you would want to apply early admission. It can increase your chances of being accepted. Applying early to a reach school is not necessarily a suggested way of demonstrating interest. Applying early to a reach school is not a suggested way of demonstrating interest. You are better off looking at other ways to show interest in the school than just by applying early action. Some ways that you can demonstrate interest. Interview if it's available. Make sure you visit the college campus in person if you can, but during these times it may not always be possible to visit a college and campus, but make sure that you register and attend an online tour. Visit college websites. When you're on their websites, make sure that if there's a contact person that you reach out to the contact person. Ask them a question, even if you know the answer. It doesn't hurt to ask them a question about the college or about your major or the application process. Attend the college rep visits that are set up in Naviance. If you log into your Naviance account, you can see the list of colleges that will be virtually visiting our school this year, and you can sign up to attend those colleges. And last but not least, once you meet those admissions counselors, either in person or online, make sure you email them, send them a thank you, ask them another question. These are all much better ways of demonstrating interest than just applying early action. You should establish a range of schools that you are applying to. So how many does that include? Our recommendation is 6 to 8. Within those 8 schools, 2 should be reach schools or your dream school. So any school that is looking for candidates who maybe have higher test scores, higher GPA, more extracurricular activities. You should have 2 reach schools. The middle target area should be match schools. So 4 or 5 schools that are accepting students with a profile that's like yours. So within your range of 6 to 8 schools, the last 2 should be safety schools, where they're accepting students with lower GPA than what you may have. The advantage to doing that is that they're more likely to give you merit money than the students who meet the criteria. So once you're above the criteria for the school that you're applying to, they're more likely to give you scholarship money. So that always works to your advantage.
After making your list of schools that you are going to apply to and selecting a nice range of reach schools, match schools, and safety schools, see which ones fall under the common application and which ones do not. Ideally, it would be wonderful if all the colleges that you're applying to fall under the Common App, because then you would just fill out the Common Application once and then just add your colleges to the application. In most cases, there are always a couple of your colleges that do not fall under the Common Application, which just means that you would fill out their applications under their website, under admissions, and all it is just a little bit more work. Complete your applications, proofread, and have a second set of eyes check it to make sure there's no typos and that your essay is exactly how you want it to read. You can have your English teacher double check and just definitely come to your counselor so we can double check your essays. Organize the applications by deadline dates. Sometimes it's easier to have everything for all of your colleges go out before your first deadline. Counselors need at least a 2-week notice before the college deadline in order to get a recommendation letter and other necessary information together to send. Later on in the presentation, we will go over where to find the checklist form on our website that will be very helpful. Important reminders. Make sure you are aware of the academic requirements for your colleges. Maintain your grades senior year. We send out mid-year transcripts to all of the schools you have applied to by February 1st. Also, sometimes if the school is on the fence about your acceptance, they will reach out to us and request first quarter grades. Attend the now virtual meetings in Naviance with the college representatives. Go into Naviance and click on colleges, then research colleges and college visits. Then register for the virtual college visit you are interested in attending. Since most of the time the college rep is the same person that will be reviewing your application, please make sure you have your video on during the meeting so they can get to know you and answer any questions that you may have. We have included in this slide a link to a campus visit scorecard to help you remember certain details about campuses when you do visit them. Remember to register for standardized testing if appropriate. We will be discussing this in further detail later on in this presentation. Become familiar with college admission terms like deferred, which means you have not been accepted yet, but you might be. The application will be reviewed again during the normal admission session with all of the other applicants. And also the term waitlisted, which is being put on a wait list, means you are on a holding pattern of a sort. Admissions may or may not admit students from the wait list. As I mentioned earlier, it would be great if all of your schools fall under the Common Application because you would just need to fill out an application once. This slide has a link to the Common App. In order to be able to link the Common Application with Naviance, you need to have at least one college on your list and also electronically sign your FERPA, which is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act's disclosure. The student is responsible for submitting applications to their colleges. If necessary, officially sending ACT and SAT scores through ACT/SAT websites. Requesting letters of recommendation from teachers, both in person first, and then selecting the names on Naviance. Completing the teacher brag sheet for each of these teachers on Naviance. Completing the counselor brag sheet on Naviance and making sure that a parent guardian completed the parent brag sheet in Naviance, which has to be done through the parent Naviance account, not the student account. We need to have the authorization to release educational records form with both parent and student signatures in our file in order to be able to release any of your records. Most of you already have had that yellow form signed during our junior conferences this past year. Completing the transcript request on paper and handing it into your counselor at least 2 weeks before your deadline is very important because this is the only way We know that you have applied and need transcript letters and the school profile sent to your colleges. These are the 3 items we send to the colleges: your transcript, our council recommendation letter, and a school profile. These supporting documents are sent to the colleges via eDocs through our Naviance.
Adhering to deadlines is one of the critical components of the application process. For most colleges and universities, an incomplete application packet will not be reviewed. Most importantly, the guidance department utilizes ample time to compile your materials, create a written evaluation, and send your materials electronically. With this being said, the above deadline dates must be followed. For example, if your deadline is October 15th, you must have your transcript request form to your counselor 2 school weeks prior to deadline. The guidance website has multiple resources available for post-secondary planning. If not familiar already, please navigate to the College and Career tab. This section gives access to the WHS application process link, which includes the college application process checklist. The checklist starts with completing teacher and counselor brag sheets and ends with submission of the transcript request form. Once you've checked off each task, you're ready for the Are You Done survey, which is found by hovering over the checklist link. Being able to answer each question on the survey allows you to submit it and receive the transcript request form. Print the form and fill it out completely, paying special attention to deadline dates. The form must be handed directly to your counselor. The checklist ensures all necessary application components are completed and nothing is outstanding. I urge my students to meet with me after our individual meetings to go through this together. There are a lot of moving parts in the process, but with the right amount of support, you will be successful. Probably the most talked about component of the college admissions process. I'm going to talk more at length regarding standardized tests in the coming slides, but for application purposes, the student is responsible for sending their scores from collegeboard.org or act.org directly to the college and university. Counselors do not send standardized testing scores. It can take upwards of 3 weeks, even prior to the pandemic, for SAT and ACT score requests to be processed. Please be aware of this and factor it into your application deadlines. But I urge you to utilize the resources on test optional schools, specifically fairtest.org. Over 1,600 colleges and universities are new to test optional this year. This number doesn't even account for all the schools that were test optional before the pandemic. New this year, the SAT school day on October 14th. This is an opportunity for you to acquire a score if you should need it. Florida and Wyoming are the only states with state schools still requiring a test score. Double depositing is the practice of committing and sending deposits to more than one school by decision deadline, which is typically between late April and May. This practice is frowned upon and not necessary. If you need help making a final determination on the school that fits you best, see your counselor.
Financial aid may be a key component for families when it comes to making a college decision. The U.S. Department of Education uses the FAFSA to determine your eligibility for federal student aid, including low-cost loans, grants, and work study. The FAFSA may also determine your eligibility for state and school aid as well. The CSS Profile is an online application to determine eligibility for non-federal financial aid, which is administered by the College Board. Not every college requires it, but nearly 400 colleges do, so be sure to check the list of schools to determine if your child needs to complete the application. Both the CSS application and the FAFSA can be filed as early as October 1st and should be completed as soon as possible to take advantage of the aid that is distributed on a first-come, first-served basis. On this slide, you will find a link for FAFSA, a link for the CSS profile, and a link for the schools who require the CSS profile to be completed. All of this information and more will be discussed during the financial aid night on October 5th. You have access to the Zoom link in the email that was sent out on September 24th. Congratulations, you've been accepted to college. Now what? You need to bring your counselor a copy of your admissions decision letter because we need to make sure everything in Naviance is up to date. We record acceptances, denials, waitlists, and deferrals, as well as all scholarship information. It is important to provide us with this information as soon as you get it, so we are prepared to submit your mid-year transcripts to the correct schools and your final transcript to whichever school you decide to attend. Please note that all of this information is kept confidential. Here are some important tips we received from the class of 2020. Start applying for scholarships early. Build strong relationships with your teachers. You will find the college or major you love, even if it isn't your first choice. Visit as many schools as you can, and don't limit yourself to just looking colleges up on the internet. Take risks and don't be afraid of failure. Do not overbook your schedule with just social events, but do not just study all the time either. Life is about a healthy balance. Senior meetings will begin on October 1st. Please check your email for a link to set up a time to meet with your counselor. You should schedule a meeting during a time that is the least disruptive to your academics, like during a senior study hall. If your meeting needs to be during a class period, make sure you will not be missing a test or quiz. If you prefer to meet with your counselor virtually, please email your counselor with this request and they will work with you to find a time that best fits your schedule. The meeting will last approximately 30 minutes and you will go over everything that needs to be done so you are prepared to submit your applications. We are offering a virtual college application boot camp this year. Counselors will be available via Google Meet on the dates and times listed on the slide. The link for the virtual boot camp will be shared with you in your counselor's Google Classroom page. This boot camp is designed for counselors to be available to answer questions regarding Common App, personal essays, narrowing down a list of colleges, Naviance, FERPA agreements, transcript requests, SATs, ACTs, and much more. Please take advantage of this opportunity to ask as many questions as you need. We are here to help. Additional information can be found on Westwood Regional High School's guidance page. And if you follow us on Facebook and Twitter, you will get updates and reminders on different events and important dates throughout the year.
This concludes our senior college program. You've been provided with a wealth of information regarding the college application process. It's a lot to take in, and we urge that you take some time to absorb everything and review this presentation at your leisure. Additionally, please make a point to review the included slide presentation. Once you've done so, please reach out to your respective guidance counselor with any and all questions, as I'd be more than happy to help you through this process. To our senior students, we wish you all the best through this process, and remember, we're here to help. Thank you everybody for joining us.